Hey everybody, another episode of Working Hard Only to Starve. This makes no sense to me. Food or rent. It's not a luxury, it's kind of a necessity.
Food has become so unaffordable in this city that even people employed with full-time jobs can no longer buy groceries. That's according to a new report by Feed Scarborough Food Bank, which has seen a startling 112% increase in visits since last year. 112%. The demand for food banks has skyrocketed right across the city. And a new report released by Feed Scarborough is digging into why, uncovering troubling stats. Almost a third of their clients are employed. Think about it. You're working 40 hours a week, but you still cannot afford food.
It's unheard of. And again, what are the politicians doing? Let me guess, their pockets are already lined. This isn't their issue. I guess they'll just continue to do their job and get paid by the taxpayers and with the free healthcare insurance. I said this during the election time. I said, a lot of people are going to learn the hard way, and they're going to learn a very expensive lesson, and that lesson is not to be so emotional. I have a dear friend. Trump made a tweet. Okay, he made a tweet. It wasn't, she didn't like the tweet. And that one tweet was just it. Oh, how could you go for Trump? And I'm thinking to myself, emotional. People, I think now with all this going on with inflation, people are going to learn life is business. As my dad taught me, when you make an emotional decision, you're going to make probably the wrong decision. Life is business. You have to get acclimated. So I think people are going to learn the very hard way. A lot of people doing Trump administration, oh my goodness, portfolios were popping. For myself, it was awesome. With Trump around, it was just, everything was great financially. That's what I can say for me. Now, still down. For most Americans, they're not worried about a portfolio. They're worried about food and rent. Who in the heck in life goes to work on a full-time job? We're not saying a person that's a bum goes to work on a full-time job, working 40 hours a week, and still can't eat. There are people now, there are some food banks that, guess what? The food banks are running out of food. There are people who used to donate to the food banks. Guess what? Now they're there. Not just visiting to see how things are going. Yeah, they're there because they need food. Imagine you used to volunteer and bring food to the food bank, drop it off, and now you're there as a customer or someone needing assistance. I've seen lots of food banks having to turn people away. Can you imagine? What if you waited 30 minutes or an hour for food and then they turn you away, they ran out? That's 30 minutes or an hour wasted, and then there's no food. This is not going to get better anytime soon. And if you think that people are going to get acclimated to not being able to feed themselves or secure housing, if you think that it's going to just peacefully go ahead and, live in the wilderness or live in my car, that's okay. You have another thing coming. My concern is when society falls apart. You think crime is bad now. I'm really concerned that this Christmas is going to be the worst. I would tell anybody, and I'm not too much of a holiday person. I would tell anybody, if you can, now might be a good time to, order online. Go ahead and do the Christmas thing early. Thanksgiving, the day after that, I wouldn't even take a chance, because you know what? I think people are going to be irrational and just start, go for something. If it's not enough inventory there, fighting, someone could get hurt or worse. Food or rent. So I thought about it for Thanksgiving. What are people going to do? It's going to be a lot of middle class people that don't have that turkey. I just got some information, oh my gosh, this week. And I'm definitely, I love to invest, and trust me, I'm still down in that, but I still always try to keep things, minimal. You understand? Friend of mine bought a house when all this was going on, oh, gotta get a house and all that. I understand. $400,000 house. Problem is, it's one income. And when she had a little mishap, a house is truly oh my God, are you kidding? I mean, a house can just drain your pockets. You know what I'm saying? It's a big responsibility. And you want to do different things and decorate, yada, yada. Things happen. So when she had a leaking problem with water, her water in the front yard was just like super green. Well, yeah, she had like a water leak. And so her water bill was expensive. And so she was concerned about that. And I knew that I was like, oh my God, Lizzie, girl, if you're concerned about a water bill, if you're concerned about a couple $100s, a house can be a money pit. I knew then, I was like, when all the dinner parties kind of wore off and look at my house and yada, 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 and people are there visiting, I knew then, I was like, wow, I hope nothing happens with the job. Because if you're paid to paycheck on a house that's $400K, then something happens with the car, got to get a whole nother vehicle. You have to live for yourself. Don't worry about what people are thinking or what they're saying. You need to live for yourself. So then I just heard last week from a mutual friend that the person has been unemployed for 2 months. So if she was stretched thin while she was making decent money, if she was stretched thin then while she was bringing home a regular consistent check, what do you think now? I said, oh my gosh, and then, yeah, past 2 months has been laid off. And she was just saying before all this happened that, hey, the money she's bringing in, it's negative compared to her overhead. So she didn't think it through. She did not think it through. Doesn't look too good. She did not think things through. That's why I said a lot of people are going to be hurting. I know people now, they've had jobs paying six figures. One of them is gone. No, two of them. One is a year and a half. The other going on 2 years. Still looking for a job and still nothing. And it's not that and they're, educated, have their degrees. They're not even getting job offers. You understand? One of them went for a job that barely paid maybe 40, no, 50 to 55. Didn't even get a call back. So this is really serious. Middle class been wiped out. What's left? Good luck. But working hard, the American dream, it's becoming a nightmare trying to attain it. I don't see how this can continue. I don't. I just think society's gonna, you rip that band-aid off, and I think people are going to start losing it. And it can be a dangerous person when you have someone who has nothing to lose. So yeah, this is where we are. Who in the world? I never heard working 40 hours a week and can't afford to eat. At the food banks. Again, maybe now would be a good time since we're helping everyone else. I think most Americans need a stimulus package. Oh, especially families, single people. It's hard for everyone. All the money is going out, and no, the politicians do not want to address this issue. We're acting like everything is okay, everything is fine, and everything is not. Working 40 hours a week and you still can't afford to eat. It's not acceptable, and it's just not American. It's just, this isn't right. This to me, it is unheard of. It is completely unheard of. Anyway, let me know what you all think. Food or rent? You should be able, if you're working hard, to have food and rent. You can't choose one or the other. That's crazy to me. We cannot continue like this. We simply can't. This is not sustainable. And if you think the country is just going to all of a sudden crack out a whip and, okay, whoop, well, we survived that. That was last week and now everything is great. It doesn't happen that way. It doesn't happen this way. So for all my peeps, I said before, during the Trump administration, and oh my goodness, I've gotten flack for wearing my Trump t-shirt. You know, I have two of them that said, actually three. It says, don't blame me. I voted for Trump. And I can see people, different ones sometimes will look at me when I go for my walk or my jog. It's like, yeah. And it's true. Don't blame me. I didn't vote for the guy. I already knew, like, nah, this is not none. I did my research. But people are going to learn a hard lesson. A really hard lesson to not be emotional, to look at life and look at the facts. And the facts is, most people were doing a heck of a lot better doing Trump. It just is what it is. So that's song that's out. First day out. Yeah, a lot of Americans are going to have a first day out. I'm telling you, being the American dream is going to be over. And like for my friend here, you think about it. That house is $400,000. She has to pay her mortgage on that. Money was tight before. I didn't think it was a wise decision, but she made that decision. Unless a miracle happens, you know what's going to happen. And I told our mutual friend, I said, well, you just can't get to a point. I know it seems like no big deal for some, but no one just can, you can't just shell out. When people start getting to that point, they're going to need the 3,500 or 4Gs, whatever, for the house note. You know for sure you're not going to get the money back. So if you do loan somebody that kind of money, just count it as a write-off. But all you're doing, unless something comes immediately work-wise, income-wise, you're just staving off the inevitable. And what do you do then? So yeah, food or rent, this is crazy. It has to be psychologically dehumanizing to work 40 hours a week and then you can't afford to eat. Anyway, let me know what you all think, and I'm out. Thanks for watching.